All right, I'm just following up on this turbine. Now, in the video that I posted the other day where I took it down, I actually didn't realize it at the time, but that was 1 year to the day that I had put that thing up on the pole. So this is this turbine after a year. Now, how helpful this particular review or update will be, I don't know. I've had a really hard time finding this thing commonly available. I did find it in a couple of places, but I don't know how reliable it's going to be that it's going to be the exact same rotor and stator inside. I'm basing that it's the same turbine on the body, this drop tail copy of the old AirX turbines, I think they were. And these blades, I think, are one of the biggest contributors to why this thing works so well. But this is it after a year. Two things to point out: the finish, and this is the same way on the 700 watt turbine that I've got up there, and even the cheap 400 and 500 watt turbines that I've got on the other pole out there. The cheap white powder coating that they put on these, it seems to hold up awesome. There's no fading or anything. It's still glossy and shiny despite being up in several hailstorms. Now, immediately from the outside, what I think that this thing has suffered the most wear on over the last year is the blades. Whenever I put this thing up, the blades were white. They were very nice, clean, shiny, and white. They are now dull yellow. You can see that the surface has texture now that was certainly not there before. The leading edge is a little bit more rough. It's because the material that the blades are made out of, even though this is it's a design that I'm really pleased with, the material isn't holding up to sunlight quite so well. You also see on the nose cone, pop that off right quick, around the edges, that's starting to discolor. And popping that nose cone off, you can see what Texas subjects it to. That's just dirt that's forced its way in from the wind. And this is neat. Somehow, we still managed to get spider webs. But that happens out here. So lots of dirt and dust. That's something I have to deal with a lot. Getting the nose cone off, you can actually see where it was covered and protected from the sun is still nice and white. Get my tripod balanced back here. Now, the hub itself, I mean, there's nothing special about the hub. It is what it is. It's fine. There's nothing there to wear out. Okay. The back side of the blades actually seems to have deteriorated the most. Let's see if I can get that texture visible. There's also been stuff like on this one, those little dark spots. I don't know if maybe the blades hit something, if that's or what. This seems smooth. Yeah, that's spider web. But that's something that's in the blade itself. So that's that. I think that if these blades, they go back up if I put this turbine up, or if I use these blades on something else, which I'm thinking that I might, they will definitely need to be painted and sealed with something that's UV resistant. Now, looking at the turbine itself, you know, these things, they come with sealed bearings, and you can see that the seal is not held up great. It's leaked quite a bit. That's quite caked on there. And there is a lot of grease, thick grease on the shaft itself. Let's find... is it this one? It's this one. We're just gonna pop this off to take a look at the inside. I like this. One of the things I would have thought would have rather failed pretty quickly is the sticker on the tail. The sticker on the tail even held up. Good paint. But this is so far been, I am with the inexpensive Chinese turbines, I am about, uh-oh. Whoops, power went out there. Oh well, it happens. Now we've got, well, I'm wanting to take this off because, you know, I can see that that seal has not kept up very well there. And then all around on the outside, the O-ring, because these just use a big O-ring to seal. That's the only thing that seals, you know, everything out. The O-ring is dry rotted and cracked pretty heavily all the way around. It did not hold up to the sun either. So we're gonna pop this loose and see what the inside looks like. Now, I'll post a link to the original review video that I did for this thing. But this is the one that I found just a great big lock washer floating around underneath the rotor. And I had said that at that time that the stator was real sloppy. Of course, I'm learning that no, it wasn't really all that sloppy by some standards. But inside it looks, even though that O-ring is dry rotted and cracked all the way around, it looks like nothing got in there. There's some shavings from the powder coating as I took the front off. And there are like little bits of grease or soot. I can't tell. Let's see, that was, yeah. So there's soot down here, which was on the, or towards the bottom. But I don't see any art points or anything. The wire all looks great, despite the fact that I have, this thing at one time peaked at about 1,200 watts. The wind was pushing it that hard. Nothing's discolored. No. So, we'll see if we can get a closer look. with that. Come on, smartphone, focus. There we go. Kind of, I guess. The wire still looks clean. The only thing I'm seeing is that soot there. The slip ring inside. Still in really good shape. There's no evidence of moisture on the inside. It's still pretty good. I'm still very pleased with this turbine. Now, I don't know what I'm going to do with it. I may put this thing back up at a later time. I might sell it. I do have an urge to get a Vector Hurricane or Hurricane Vector turbine to put up on a pole next to my i1500. I need to start putting together a budget for that if I'm going to do it. And this might fund that, so it might go up for sale. I don't know yet. We'll see. But I'm going to have links in the description to my original review of this turbine. I'm going to have links to the places where I've seen it for sale. So possibly you can get it again. And I'll have a link to the original sale of the turbine. I ask that vendor every now and then if he's going to get any more, and I eventually stopped asking him because he said, I'm never going to get them. Okay, but maybe you guys will have better luck. I'm still really impressed with these blades. Again, this thing, it took lots of wind for it to get started, but once it got started, it was a serious performer. This has been probably the best Chinese turbine that I've played with. Put that screw back in before that makes a mess. I'll come back out and it'll be on the floor with the stator damaged and the wires sheared. Okay, all right, so that's not going anywhere. Anyway, that's that for now. For however educational and informative that'll be. I thank you guys for watching. If you've got any questions, if there's anything that you'd like to see about this turbine that I didn't show here, please let me know. I will get that information to you. Outside of that, thank you all for watching. Stay safe, stay warm, and have a wonderful evening.